Hey y'all, this is Straight from the Coffin with two goths in a coffin. I'm Amari.
And I'm Jude.
And we are back with the latest and last installment of our Bloody Delights series, where we have been talking about our favorite vampire films, or at least ones that we really, really enjoy. Mm-hmm. And this time we are talking about one of my favorites, Ganja and Hess. And I'm super excited to talk about this one today with Jude and with y'all. And also, maybe you noticed that
You can see us, which is different than normal.
Well, I guess if you're watching on YouTube.
Yeah. Otherwise, you can't see us, and it's the same as it's always been. Yeah. We decided it would be fun for, like...
This is our 10th episode.
This is our 10th episode.
That's wild.
And, like, to kind of close out this series, and maybe it's, like, a fun thing to do for, like, these sort of, like, series-ish finale things to, like... show our faces a little bit.
Just a little bit, you know. As a little treat.
As a treat.
To y'all.
Yeah. For sure.
It is a treat.
Okay.
You should be very thankful. Mm-hmm. Thank me in the comments. Anyways.
Yeah.
So today we're talking about Ganja and Hess.
Yeah.
Directed by Bill Gunn. He is a Black director, playwright, writer, and he was also a Black queer man, and we love that. So, you know, I mean, that's what we're all about here, celebrating queer people of color. So,
yeah,
another reason to have this one be our last one in the series.
Yeah.
You know, as a special little hoorah. And it's Black History Month, so
yeah.
Duh. Imagine if we did The Lost Boys.
That would have been
God.
No.
Anyway, so I thought it would be good to give a little context surrounding the movie, talk about a little bit like how it was made, and then kind of what happened after it came out. So Bill Gunn was approached by a production company, which I already forgot the name of it.
Kelly Jordan.
Thank you. Kelly Jordan Enterprises.
Enterprises.
In 1972, and they wanted him to make a Black vampire film, especially after like Blackula had just like came out. Bill Gunn wasn't really interested in like doing a vampire film.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know, probably, you know, because I'm sure opportunities are kind of slim for Black artists at that time, and I'm sure, I mean, even now.
Yeah.
But
and also, like, because we were doing research, like he had done a major film with like Warner Brothers that was supposed to be his like big first like film, especially with a major studio, and then it got tabled.
Yeah.
And they made the movie, and then they just like were like, never mind, we're not releasing it. And so now he has a production studio that's like, let's, you know, here's another chance, and it's like, well, I gotta get a movie out somehow.
Yeah, we want you to do vampires. And then he's like,
I guess I'll do vampires. Yeah.
But he was like, okay, but if I can like kind of use vampirism as a metaphor for addiction and do something interesting with it, he's like, that's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
So it actually did really well at the Cannes Film Festival, and it was the only U.S. film, I believe, selected to play, and was really well received. But then when it came back home to the U.S., all the white critics were like really weird about it.
Yeah.
I remember there was one, I believe they mentioned that they only went in for like 20 minutes and then did a whole review of the whole movie. And Bill Gunn was...
On the first 20 minutes, you don't get the movie yet.
Yeah,
the movie hasn't happened.
I know. Especially with this film. Like, it really is... It's one of those films that is truly a let the tale seduce you kind of...
It's one... Yeah, when I'm like, you have to let this movie happen to you.
Yeah.
Don't try and...
It's a journey.
Yeah.
It's a journey.
It's an art house. Sorry.
Yeah.
It's art house, which means like you have to let it happen. You have to see what's going on.
Yeah, but of course these white critics didn't want to like give it a chance at all. And even to the point where of course it didn't do well with the box office either, you know, with all these terrible reviews coming out about it. And so the production company actually decided to cut up the film that he had worked so hard on, and re-release it with just like bits and pieces that they wanted to keep in it to, I guess they wanted to
like make it more palatable or
Yeah.
make it more, you
and
know,
then the
less-
titles that they
yeah.
released it
were awful.
it was so oh my
awful.
god.
When I was looking at these, I was like, Jesus.
Oh my god. It was bad.
Yeah.
And so Bill Gunn did kind of have his own response to these white critics. He released a letter in the New York Times, and there was a really good quote that I'm going to just read actually, that I think is really relevant to even right now. But here's a quote, because it's so good. I just want to I love it. So the quote says, "There are times when the white critic must sit down and listen. If he cannot listen and learn, then he must not concern himself with Black creativity." And I just think, yeah. And it makes me think about what happened with like Variety. It was Sinners.
Yeah.
And the way that they decided to talk about the film, and not give it the same chance that they give to all these other movies that come out who have done much worse than
that they turn to like the box office game, and then when it's winning the box office game, they're like, it's not all about numbers.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, or like when, you know, because the way they spoke about Variety specifically spoke about Sinners versus the way it spoke about like one battle after another is like very, very like stark and night and day. Like everyone cares about the numbers until, you know.
Until it's a
And
Black
I'm not
artist, a
saying
Black
that
director.
necessarily like the numbers matter, but the fact that it was like so like,
Yeah, it's the difference in how they
Yeah.
decided to approach it.
because I'm like, some of the best things don't have the greatest numbers, but like it was so popular, and they were like trying to be like undercut its popularity by
Right.
being like, well, it's not close to what it took to make, and then
Yeah.
it like surpassed it as like,
Back talk.
yeah,
There's no back talk.
yeah,
But yeah, so I don't know. I really like that quote. And I'm glad that he also like, you know, he stood up for himself, and he's like, I love that he was like, you know what? Fuck y'all. Like, we love that for him.
yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to give that little bit of context surrounding the film, and, you know, what the energy was around it. Despite that, it's a great movie. Despite those critics from the back, it's a great movie. One of my favorites, and very happy to chat about it today.
Yeah.
So I guess we can kind of like talk a little bit about, I guess what it's about. And
Which is that's a complicated question.
it is. I mean,
Like, what is Ganja Hess about? It's like,
it's about a
geez.
lot of things,
Yeah.
really. It's about, you know, Black identity. It's about addiction. It's about religion. It's about, I feel like, colonialism. It's about the artist struggle. There's, specifically the Black artist struggle. There's a lot going on within the movie, but I feel like it did a successful job, and it doesn't try to. It's not interested in like explaining itself,
Yeah.
and I think that's okay.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like we need to have more movies that aren't interested in like trying to tell you exactly what's going on.
Yeah. But yeah, did you want to get into the
Yes.
what happens?
Yeah, so we have our two main characters. We have Dr. Hess
Green.
Green,
Giving him his full name.
I guess. Wait, is Green his first name?
No.
The Green's his last name.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot that. Anyways, so we have Dr. Hess Green, and he is a, you know, professor, doctor of anthropology. And then we have Ganja, who's this wonderful, beautiful Black woman who was married to
George.
I was trying to figure his first name.
Yeah, his name's like George Maida.
Yeah, George Maida. And yeah, so let me get into kind of, I guess we can kind of go through a little what kind of like happens in the movie. You're so good at like remembering plot.
Oh, wow. I have to remember the plot in order. Okay, for sure.
Even though I just watched it, but you're better at.
Yeah, you literally were watching it before we started recording. So it starts off. It starts off really interesting by having like the narration from his like chauffeur slash minister slash like all these things. Who's
I think that's really interesting too.
Yeah, who's played by Sam Wayman, who's actually Nina Simone's brother.
Oh,
which I
that's
think
what we
is
didn't talk
crazy.
about. We didn't talk about who played these characters.
Yeah, we'll get into them as we talk about them.
Yeah,
So
we
like,
can do that.
So he's played by Sam Wayman, which I thought was really crazy. I was like, that's Nina Simone's brother, and he's just here. And he also does like a lot of the music, I think, for this movie.
I think I did see that, but
Yeah,
don't take my word for it.
Yeah. When I was looking, I was like, oh, okay. And then, so he works for Dr. Hess Green, who's played by Dwayne Jones. It's really important. Dwayne Jones from Night of the Living Dead.
Exactly.
And that was his, like, only movie before this.
Right.
So.
He already had cemented himself as, like, in, like, the horror
And I think
genre,
it's
which is really amazing.
Yeah, it's really interesting that his first two movies were, like, very like groundbreaking.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, he was like, he broke a lot of stereotypes with his character Ben from Night of the Living Dead, and then in this one, like, playing this like, in a lot of the things I was reading, they described as like the very like aristocratic, like,
same,
you know, doctor, in a film with like a almost exclusively like black cast. Like it's very, it's like he kind of started sprinting out the gate,
right?
With like, especially during the time, you know.
I love that.
So, yeah, and then Ganja, who's played by Marlene Clark, who had actually worked on the movie that Bill Gunn had made that had been tabled, and I guess he was like, I gotta make a movie. We gotta make a movie.
We gotta work together.
Yeah, we've gotta work together. It's actually gotta see the light of day.
Yeah.
So, we start with this, and
so we start with this, but
I think to me it's important that the movie starts in the church and it kind of circles back to it.
Exactly. I do love that.
So we have like this, and then we have like some like interstitial like titles. Basically, it's saying what's going to happen that has not happened yet, which is that Dr. Hess, or like Dr. Green, or Hess of Ganja, will be stabbed with a special dagger and be turned, like, gain an addiction to blood.
Right.
And I think we hear like Sam Wayman's character, whose name I've forgotten, talking. I can write that down. Yeah, talking about like how his boss has a blood addiction.
Yeah.
And talking about it in a way that I think is really interesting, where he's like, well, it's not like he really wants to hurt anybody.
He's a
like,
victim.
Yeah, that he's a victim, and it's just like, yeah. So then it kind of like flashes back, and it's like, how did he get this blood addiction? How is he stabbed by this dagger?
Right.
And he was working with George Maida, who was actually played by Bill Gunn.
Yes. Which I think is also really interesting. He's his new assistant, Bill. Well,
Bill Gunn. Bill Gunn's character is his new assistant.
Yeah.
And what I think is really funny is that, you know, Bill Gunn has cast himself to play this like kind of tedious guy. Like, he's telling this story which like isn't interesting, but like he's almost annoyed that like Hess is not nearly as taken with the story as like he is. And like you're like, this guy is kind of annoying. I think it's fun when directors are like, I'll just be this guy. So yeah, but there's Hess already like enters this as like a person who is very disaffected, very distant and aloof from like people, and like does not feign interest when he is not interested.
Yeah. There's already this like detachment that he has already.
Yeah. So
so basically there who was that white man?
I don't know. Someone he works with.
Anyway, so
another person in like the academic sphere.
Yeah. So essentially, Hess meets Meta and finds out that he's going to be his new assistant. And so they go back to his home. He has a very lavish, very nice home.
Yeah, in upstate New York.
Yes. And you can tell he has money. And he's like, until you kind of figure out where you're going to go, you can stay here. And so, yeah, this is where they're like chatting it up. They have dinner. And then they go to bed, and Hess has this like dream. And there's two. You have this white man who is the guy at the university, whatever, who works I guess with him in this mask, and then you have this another dreamscape. I'm pretty sure I don't know they mean to rather allude to the
It's like
Myrthians?
Yeah.
I don't know if
it's like this like fictitious like group of people that this is where the curse originates from.
I don't know if they intended for that to be the Myrthians, but you have
I kind of assumed it was.
That's what I assumed too, but and I do think it's interesting that they constantly have like, some kind of like some kind of representation of like whiteness, whether it's like this white man or it's like white art, European art, whatever. And then you have the African people, and then the Myrthians, or you have like African art. And they're constantly like showing them
kind of like in opposition to each other.
Yeah,
or like there's like a
for.
conflict here.
Yeah.
For Hess.
And I think that's really interesting. But yeah, so he like wakes up from this dream. And he happens, to go out, and he goes outside, and
something I did want to like circle back to is that they have like this song that kind of like explains
that's
the
right.
like Myrthians, and that they had like
and
this
the curse,
this curse, and something that I thought was so interesting both times I've seen it, this bit was the fact that like, so they're given this curse, and then like the cure or like the way to fight this curse is for the shadow of the cross to like go over your heart. But the song also says that like Christ hadn't been born yet, so they're basically waiting for the cure to this addiction that predates this religion. And like I think it's so whenever I hear it, I'm just like, this to me points out like the ridiculousness of that like colonial idea that these people need to be saved by Jesus. And it's just like they're older than Christianity.
Right.
So it's like
the audacity. The arrogance.
So to be like, these people have a curse that they just have to wait a couple millennia until
for the white God to show up.
Yeah. And it's like, that's I think that was a very interesting choice there.
Right.
Like to have him like, I don't know, add to the conflict and to the larger, I guess, like social conversation of the movie.
Yeah, no, it's really interesting.
But yeah, and he has this dream sequence, is what you were saying.
Yeah, no, he has this dream sequence. He wakes up, he goes outside. When he goes outside, Meta is in a tree, and this while it's very like disturbing, it is a really interesting shot scene.
Yeah.
Because Meta is he's in a tree. His legs are just dangling. You don't see anything but just his legs dangling.
Yeah.
And then there's this like rope that's, you know, been tied as like a noose. And I don't, it's, you just have to like look at it. You have to see it. It's so, it's so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But very, so good. And when I say so good, it's just like, it's really shot really well. And he's been drinking, and, you know, Hess comes up, and essentially, what it boils down to is Hess is like, you can't kill yourself here. I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah, he's like,
But you can't kill yourself here because I'm the only black man in this neighborhood, and if you kill yourself here, the cops are gonna come, and like it's gonna be so annoying.
Yeah.
And I think that it shows even more so. And I will say that Meta does say like, I don't want you like trying to bullshit me or try to oppress me. So I don't know. I feel that might be part of why he just skips the bullshit, doesn't even bother. But I do think it says a lot how he's just like, does not care about what this man is doing. He's just like, don't kill yourself here. Like, go somewhere else. Have some manners. He literally says that. And I'm like, he literally says, talks about like, well, you know, something, he says something about manners. And I'm like, damn. But I think it does show kind of his like detachment already, like just kind of careless with human life, especially like other black folks. Like he's like, listen, I'm trying to like maintain a certain impression here amongst in this little white neighborhood, trying to keep it cute. I don't need you doing all that. And I thought, you know, that was really interesting. I would also think it's interesting that sometimes he's like behind the news and sometimes he's like right in front of it. And I think that also says a lot considering what happens at the end of the movie. And we'll get to that. But yeah, so he manages to convince Meta to like get down out of the tree. He comes back inside. And I do also think that it's really interesting that Bill Gunn has cast himself as this like struggling artist. And I think he's also trying to say something here about like how hard it is to be a black artist, a black creative. And I think it's probably especially coming right out of like having his other film tabled. And then considering what happens after, like I'm sure he didn't have the he wasn't like looking to the future, but like even afterwards, his Ganja Hess was like treated like shit in the U.S. Like it's definitely part of the conversation, the struggle of the black artists. But anyway, so they come back in, they chat a little bit, and then I guess they go back to sleep, or at least Hess does.
Hess goes back to sleep.
Hess goes back to sleep, and then Meta jumps him.
And he stabs him with the dagger that then makes him have this blood addiction. That basically is the thing that turns him into a vampire.
Yes.
And what's crazy to me is Meta stays in the house for it feels like a couple of days, and then is like, time to kill myself.
And he gets in. He takes a bath first.
He takes a bath,
and a very weird bath.
Crazy. When I was watching it, I was like, "Why are you?"
He was like brushing. He was like brushing his teeth
with the water from the bath. I can't. Anyway, so he then like shoots himself.
Yeah, with the cross in the background.
Yeah, there's like all this stuff, and then Hess drinks his blood.
Yeah.
And that kind of kicks everything off. And then we have this whole thing where like he goes into, I would assume like New York City proper, and he is approached by this woman who's clearly being like set up for like some sort of what's it called? they're trying to like pull a scam, pull a scheme. And so something I thought was really interesting about that conversation is like, I don't know. I mean, there's an uncanniness to it, like a very like overly false like way that she's trying to like talk to him, and like
I also like the way that one was shot as well.
Yeah. Where she's
and the
like,
shadow,
she keeps walking.
You
in
never
front
really
of
like
the...
see her face during this part specifically. You see it right before, and you see it in the following scene. But like as she's talking to him right here, you never see her face. You just see a shadow, or you see her back as she's walking back and forth.
Yeah, she keeps like walking like in front of the camera.
Yeah.
And switching sides, and I thought, there was just something where she was just like, you look like somebody that my friend was seeing, like, who used to, like, take her to the Apollo, and he was just like, I don't know who you're talking about. But then, like, they do, like, go back to a apartment together.
Can I say something?
Yes.
I watched, okay, we're gonna just take a quick tangent, not very long. But it also is another version of this that Spike Lee decided he wanted to do his own version of Ganja Hess. I watched that today because I wanted to see if there was anything interesting for me to have commentary on about that. I didn't like it. It was not good. It was not good. But I definitely didn't like this scene. It felt even more... It felt cruel, like, I don't know, the way he, like, treated that woman in the scene. And even the way that Hess, I kind of prefer this Hess in Bill Gunn's version, who's just very detached. His version of Hess was, like, kind of sleazy. He makes a stupid joke where she's like, what's your name? He's like... Dick. She's like, you have a first name? Long, Dick Long, or something like that. And I'm like, ugh, yuck.
Ew.
Yeah, it's like,
it's like an unfunny joke.
It's like, it's so much more, it's very sleazy. It's so, I don't know. They made the scene just like very, I don't know, weird and sleazy and gross. And like, obviously what's going on is not great in this version either. But I felt like there was still a little bit more...
It feels like
respect for...
Like, Hess in this is afforded a dignity even while he's doing some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
That if that didn't have... Like,
I was like, this is pissing me the fuck off.
Yeah.
I was almost about to, like, send you messages as I was, like, watching it. I don't like the way that he's treating women in this one is even weirder. Like,
I mean, it's a Spike Lee movie.
I know. And I was not having it. I was not having it.
Yeah, no.
In comparison to Bill Gunn, who a part in his letter, he was talking about how the white critics also talked about Marlene Clark, and was like, I don't like the fact that the only way that y'all were referring to her was that, oh, she's like this brown skin looker, and blah, blah, blah. He's like, don't fucking talk about her like that.
Yeah. Like she's one of the most beautiful women who's ever been in film ever.
Yeah.
So watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Like, ew.
Yeah.
Like, this scene is already like supposed to be like uncomfortable,
and it is,
and I don't know. So yeah, they like try and pull this like, there's a word that's not scam or scheme that I'm looking for, but it's a thing that people do, where it's like the guy comes in and stabs him to basically like rob him blind.
Yeah.
But like they didn't realize that this is a vampire.
Yeah.
So he gets stabbed and is just like, well, I'm gonna fucking kill you. And so he like kills the guy, and then kills the woman, and it's already like really not great.
Yeah.
And drinks their blood, as you know he's wont to do, and then like leaves this scene.
Yeah. Also, before this scene, no, because I had to talk about this, because before this scene, you find out, one, that he has a son.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, you find out he has a son because
I forgot the order of events because
yeah,
of
no,
how
this is
the
I just watched it, so
Yeah.
I was like, this happens before. He goes to this like little garden club thing,
Yeah.
garden party. I don't fucking know. I'm not in these circles. I don't know the terms. Look at me. I'm not a guy who goes to garden party. Anyways, so yeah, he goes to this garden party, and I'm almost wondering if it was his own party because Archie is there. And
Yeah.
Archie's working it.
I think maybe it is. It's not. They don't go too much into it, but I think it goes
Yeah.
back to when we were talking about like, oh man, about like him trying to like appeal to white academia. The
Yeah.
fact that like we only see his son in this one scene, and it's to
And
be
you
like,
never
you're
see him
learning
again.
French and speaking French real good, huh? And then he's like, now run along.
I was like,
and don't bother me ever.
I was like, every
again."
vampire has to speak French, I guess.
Yeah, that's the requirement. You gotta
Yeah, I
speak
guess
French
so.
for your vampire.
But yeah, and of course, there's only like, aside from like one black woman, everyone else is white. And the, Archie who he has working the event and serving
Yeah,
everyone.
he's like his like butler.
Yeah. And so that's also really interesting. You're like, so this is who you decide to like surround yourself with.
Yeah, and I think that's really good to bring up this like contrast of like who he wants to be seen with in public and then
who
this
does he
moment in private.
predate on? Oh.
Yeah, but I'm like, yeah, the way he is in public and the way he is in private, and
Yeah.
like the way that like we don't really see him interact, like you've said, like with other black people, unless it's like to Archie, his manservant, or Maida, his assistant, or like
His
his chauffeur. There's a degrees of subordination
Yeah.
to the other people. And I think the same goes if we're thinking like class wise.
Yeah.
Like he is a higher social class than that woman and that guy. So it's like he has to have something over them.
Yeah. And I think another thing we talked about, but first I also, so like after this scene, what kind of leads into because he meets this woman at a bar. But what leads up to it is like the shot of like the cemetery that he's, driving past. And I did think that was really interesting because like, I don't know, here he is. He's like walking death coming to the bar to feed. Because that's the only time he goes into...
Yeah.
He decides to go into the city just to feed. That's where he goes and decides to, do his hunting.
Yeah.
And yeah, because he's not doing that in his little neighborhood.
Yeah. And then a little bit later, he gets a phone call from George Maida's wife, Ganja, who's like, I haven't seen my husband in 6 months. Last time anyone had heard of him, he was at your house. I need someone to pick me up from the airport.
Yeah.
Get him on the line.
And
and
don't take
he's
no for an
like,
answer.
no one's here. And
She
then
calls back.
immediately, and she's basically like, I'm not taking no for an answer. And she's like, since he already had a room at your place, because like basically he's like, George went missing. No one's heard from him since.
She's like, ugh,
and
he'll
she's
come
like,
back, whatever.
he's kind of a crazy. She's like, whatever, he's fucking crazy. He'll come back whenever. But since he already had a room at your place, I'll just take that room.
Yeah.
And he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And then when she shows up to the house, she assumes that Hess is the help.
Yeah.
And she's like, go get me your boss.
Yeah,
And-
very similarly to
Yeah.
how Hess treats the other black workers that you see in the film.
Yeah.
She has the same kind of, she treats them in the same way. So she thinks that he's, more help. So he's like,
yeah. And he's just like, I own the house. And then immediately her
Switch.
demeanor changes. And she's like, oh, you own the house?
you know what? Yeah. I do love her though. Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, maybe you shouldn't like, treat these people like this. But also,
Yeah, because when she talks to Archie, she fully has like a face of like disdain and like
God.
annoyance. And like she'll do like a smile and then be like,
I'm like, come on, man.
and I'm like,
I do think another thing that's interesting in contrast to the two, well, Spike Lee's version is that after she finds out that Hess is Hess, she in the other movie he makes her like apologize. Ew. And like she's like sorry, she's like and I'm like no, I love that in Bill Gunn's version she doesn't apologize. She's just like
but like, also like to me that undercuts it because like for Hess, if to make someone apologize means that you need that apology. And Hess, if you really have that sort of like energy and that sort of like gravitas, you don't need to make, you're just like you've chastised them and then
Hess doesn't make her apologize. I mean what do you
in the new one, in the Spike Lee one, he didn't make her apologize.
He didn't make her apologize. I mean like Spike Lee was one he makes her apologize. I thought you were saying
Hess made her apologize.
Sorry,
and I was like, that's weird.
I'm confusing everyone. No. Spike Lee has her apologize.
That's crazy.
To him, and I'm like, no. I love the fact that she in this one she's just like
kind of like, okay, and she doesn't say anything because like we were talking about this like when we were trying to figure out what it is we want to say about this movie that like Ganja does not have shame.
Yeah.
She does not feel shame for anything and she does not feel embarrassment or like she should feel a certain way or obligation. She just is herself fully and she doesn't care.
Yeah.
And I
they
think
talk
that's really
about that.
great.
They share a little like breakfast brunch type of deal, and she's like asking all these very private questions and he's like these are kind of inappropriate, they're kind of rude, and she's like okay, I don't care, and I learned things about the people when I asked them this,
and then he's like, well, what do they learn about you? And she goes, nothing. And like that's like the point, like she does these things to like destabilize, but others she's not destabilized even a little bit, and it's like the way that people react to things gives her insight, I think, better than even if you answered the question. And like I like that is not a trait of hers that is ever like shamed by the narrative. It's just like great. Like she is shrewd, she is a little callous, and she is like very like bold as a person, and she doesn't care, and she's not made, it doesn't like she's not like corrected narratively for it. So I think that does go like when you're talking about the Spike Lee thing where she apologizes, it's like the only apology she should give is a sarcastic one.
Exactly.
She shouldn't actually genuinely feel bad about anything, because why should she?
She doesn't feel remorse for she's like okay. Anyways.
And then like she's in the house, and then she had like offered to make dinner and like a really fun, she's like, what do you want to make? It's like whatever you're good at. She's like, no, I want you to pick. And so then she's
during this time they're starting to get like closer, whatnot.
They have like a rapport going on. And then she's like, I need wine. And
they do sleep together already at this point.
And
we will probably talk about it more, but also I really do love the way Gunn handles like all of these scenes. He's really good at like actually capturing like the sensuality of a situation. Once again, that was another thing I didn't like about the other one. There's lots of sex in that one, but it was just and this one is like it's beautiful. Even also during that brunch scene, there's a part where she has Archie bring them fruit, and does he bite it or does he just open it? He just tears it up. And I love how like you see his hands. He tears open the cherry. The juice is like on his hands, and she just like dips her fingers in it.
Well, she says it looks like blood, and then dips her finger in, and then like licks it off her finger. And I was just like, I think she's kind of crazy. She is, and we love that about it. We love that. I was like, I mean that positively, but she's kind of a crazy person.
Yes.
But so then she's like, okay, making dinner, and then she's like, I need wine, and Archie's like, we're not allowed to go in the wine cellar, and she's just like, I really don't care. If I'm going to make this, I need it. And then Archie is kind of like sick of her, and so he's like, fine, damn, go. And so she goes, and she's going through the wine cellar.
Oh, Archie. I do feel bad for Archie. Well, I love her. I do feel bad for him because he's a sick of all these people's shit.
Oh, something else I thought was interesting that I think like adds to this conversation about class and the uncomfortableness of like Archie's presence.
Oh, yeah.
Is like when she's like, yeah, during the brunch scene where she's like asking basically how long have you worked, you know, for Hess. And he's like, I came with the house.
Yeah.
Which I understand, that is a thing that people say like in the service industry, but it is a crazy thing because it's like he is a thing that was inherited with the home.
Yeah.
And then like she, you know, just like makes a joke like, what were you like installed like after whatever. And it's just like there is an uncomfortability about he complicates things or he adds a layer of like it makes it's like icky, you know. And there's that like addressing in the way that they talk about him and think about him because like you know, Hess is out here just going like this when he wants more stuff. He doesn't like really ask him for things. He just kind of like is like, take my stuff, which is weird.
It is weird.
But yeah, I mean, whatever. Like, it's typical of his, like, station, like, someone who has the amount of wealth that he has, but that still is weird. Like, that is weird no matter who does it.
Yeah.
So, but I think because Hess is black and Archie is black, they're making a direct, like, commentary on this class difference. And the way that I think Hess feels he needs to behave in order to have earned his right to do that.
Yeah, no, there is a really good conversation in regards to class, and I think it's very, I don't know, it's always very relevant. I think that even like now when we talk about like black excellence, a lot of people have turned it into, well, you need to be like wealthy, you need to be part of this social class, you know, you know, black capitalism is good. And I'm like, maybe not.
Yeah.
Maybe not. And this is directly having a conversation with that. Because also with the Spike Lee version, he makes Archie, like Archie is
Rami Malek.
Yeah, Rami Malek.
Which to me defeats the purpose.
It really does. You do see that Hess has like one other black like person working for him at some point, but you only see him very briefly, and mainly it's Rami's character. I forgot his name in this because it's
something crazy and purposefully like ridiculous that I think is dumb.
Like whatever. And it really does defeat the purpose, but I also think that maybe it's because Spike Lee is now in that higher, you know, he's in that social class now himself, and I think maybe he's missing the point of what Bill Gunn was like trying to say.
Yeah. I think you can feel it also like in his movie, like when he did Highest to Lowest, like he feels uncomfortable really confronting the class difference when it comes to how he's like because of like the movie High to Low being a movie in Japan about Japanese people and the class, like the stratification of class in Japan, which I think can translate absolutely 1,000,000% to like an American redo it. Like it feels like he is reticent to fully say that like I forgot his character. Denzel Washington.
Oh, I don't remember his character.
Something
name.
King.
It's been a while.
But like Denzel Washington is in the wrong by nature of being rich. It's not that it's like you can't achieve that much wealth and be a good person because in order to you are exploiting other people inherently by having that much wealth. And it's like he is uncomfortable having that conversation, frankly. And I think, like, you know, it is a tricky conversation to have. Like, it does require a lot of nuance, and I think Bill Gunn, like, has that nuance in this movie when he's talking about it.
Yeah.
But I do think it's, like, a tricky conversation to have, I think, especially for Spike Lee, one, being of that echelon, and two, you know, not wanting to talk down, like it is a complicated conversation,
for
and
sure.
like I think risking that sort of like bringing that criticism in, especially like because like I said, like high to low works, it's different, I think, than having that conversation about like Black Americans in America and American story.
Because
it's a little pricklier.
I mean, it's very layered because we are as a people very oppressed, so like you feel like you have to like do certain things to get to a point, but I'm like, is it worth it though? Is it worth getting to that point if you start participating in that exploitation that will affect your own folks as well? So yeah, it is a lot more complicated, but it's still an important topic.
I think it's a conversation still worth having.
Because even when you think about Dr. Hess is a professor of anthropology, which in itself that field can be very exploitative, usually relies on exploiting the global south and like treating it as like this very primitive landscape. And so I do think it's interesting that is his study of choice, and he interacts with it no different than like a white professor of anthropology would.
But something I think is interesting, like with this, is because there was an article that I was reading that had a really great line that I had like sent you when they were talking about it. That was like it was like for a lot of like Black Americans, like there's like there's almost like a haunting that Africa has. It's like there's a connection, an innate connection, but also like there's like an innate connection, but also like because of there's like a distance for most like displaced like African like Americans in the United States. It's almost like this in some way like a very gothic like haunting of this past. So like I think these like the recurring song that we hear coming on, and then the visions that we see, like I think even him being an anthropology professor and having these artifacts in his home, it's like it's there, but it's also like in a way, I don't want to say like judging him, but it's like it's weighing on him. It's here.
Yeah. All right. We're just gonna be real fucking transparent. If we sound different in any way, or if
the
we sound
energy
tired,
is like completely off,
it's because my mic.
Whatever. Who cares?
We're over it. My mic went out during like the last 30 minutes of our original recording session.
Yeah.
So we are recording this, and the only reason we're telling you this is because we are exhausted. We're trying to get out in a certain amount of time. Yeah. I will be out soon for surgery, and Jude will be helping me, so we don't even have time to even push it back, even if like, okay, we're gonna push it back a little later than usual.
It's kind of like if we don't do it now, this one's not happening for a long time. Yeah. So you get what you get right now.
We're not having it.
We're gonna do our best considering the circumstances, but also we just want you to be aware that the energy is different.
Yeah, and okay. I am very sad, to be honest, because I really do love this movie and I want to give it my all. But
also I think we've been cursed by a witch or some sort of spirit or demon that has decided that every time we try and record one of these things, we need to be tortured and sent to our own special circle of hell.
No, really. Honestly, within this last month, it's just been wild. Also, if you're listening on YouTube, you'll notice that we're not re-recording it with
absolutely not. I can't deal with that right now.
I don't got makeup on. I am just chilling and I'm cozy. Sorry, y'all. Yeah, it is what it is. I apologize.
I don't. I don't apologize. It's fine. You got the first half where we decided to be cute. Here's the back half where it is what it is.
Yeah.
Okay.
To be honest, I was fidgeting so much. I was reviewing the footage and it was wild. Anyways,
I was gonna say, because I'm also editing, we're making another video kind of like talking about like gothic stuff, whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like in both, because in both I came to record immediately after work, I feel like I look angry in both.
I really don't think you do.
I feel like I have an expression. But anyway, just so you can know like where I'm at emotionally,
we're
spiritually.
being tried.
Yeah.
So we're giving it our all, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Okay. So
Good
anyway,
old-fashioned try, or
Good old-
whatever they say.
the old college try.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Oh, okay, never mind. I guess that's not what they say.
Maybe they do, and I just don't remember. Who knows? But you know what they do say? I don't know.
We can't segue into this, so we're just gonna say. So yes, we were talking about.
Okay, so we're just gonna jump right in from where we essentially where the mic cut off, and we were just about to start talking about the scene when Ganja realizes what's happened to her husband.
Mm-hmm.
She walks down to the
freezer
or
the wine cellar.
Yes, the wine cellar. I was like, there's a word I'm looking for. She goes down to the wine cellar to get wine, and she opens the freezer and she finds her dead husband in there, who has been in there for like 6 months. And she realizes then that Hess has killed her husband. So she goes, so they go back, she goes back upstairs or whatever. We come to the scene where she's basically gonna let Hess know that she knows. They're at dinner. She hasn't cooked dinner like she said she was going to. And she's just like, I know you killed my fucking husband. I know you killed my husband.
Yeah.
However, while all this is going on, I do really love the scene, and I really love the way it's framed. I love how she's framed specifically. She's surrounded by like these candles and framed really beautifully. I think you had mentioned that you liked how she kind of like blended into.
Yeah, like what I also find interesting too is like before that conversation, like before that scene, when they would talk about like what colors they liked her in, or like Hess liked her in, and he had said like white or red, and then
said, like, I think he asked. Did he ever say what it was? I think she asked him.
Yeah.
And she's like, I was thinking like I wore white and black earlier, but I mean, she's like, what about red or something like that?
Yeah, and I do like that the dress she's wearing is like red and green, which I think Hess green. Anyway, whatever. So like these things like intertwined, but in a way that because she's also not in focus during that scene, she kind of blends into the background and she just becomes like a face framed between these two candlesticks.
Yeah,
and I'm like, it's really, really beautifully shot and beautifully framed. That's like, even though I love that she's not in focus, but she also becomes a focal point regardless.
Right.
And then it leads into this really like beautiful monologue she has where she talks about this like experience she had
because
as a child.
Because we kind of get set up to where she's like, what is she gonna do now that she knows? What does she do with this? Like, where do they go from there?
I also love another thing I love, because like the words in this scene are beautiful, but I also really love the whole movie. Like Marlene Clark has a very, very naturalistic approach to her lines. Like, it feels conversational.
Yeah.
And it adds, I don't know, it adds something to it where it's like, I would forget, I feel like I was watching a person.
Yeah.
Like, in not like a performance necessarily. It added like a groundedness despite what was happening, and even despite what she was doing.
Right.
She would then like react to it so naturally, like very naturalistically. Loved it. But yeah, so she has this like, yes.
How many wives do you have, Amari? Don't worry about it.
I remember we had when I saw her, I had said to you that I have like a unofficial like list of people that I think look like have very feline features, of like cats who chose to become people.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so Marlene Clark is on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then she talks about like having this snowball fight as like a kid and how she had like a really fun time. But then when she goes to like tell her mom about it, her mom is like, I heard you were being chased by a boy. And she was like, well, we were all sort of like chasing each other.
Right.
But then like she says that her mom like straight up like called her a slut, and
Yeah.
it really like this was a really like an affecting moment for Ganja, and she was like she between that and then she said her mom used to like only praise her for like her beauty. She started to like really resent being beautiful.
Mhm.
Um, but then like later she kind of like accepted it, and then she was like, but the thing is like at the end of the day, like Ganja takes care of Ganja.
Yeah. And I do think it's in conversation with the sexualization of Black girls and how they are treated. They're adultified. They're treated as these, like, they're treated as promiscuous before they're even, you know, still young teenagers, literally young girls. And it's just disappointing to see that that was the way that her mother reacted. But I do think it's kind of like in conversation to what's, yeah.
Yeah. And then we kind of see like her using her sexuality to get, I don't want to say get power, but to like
To take care of herself.
to take care of herself. Yeah.
Like, instead of letting it be this thing that she feels ashamed of, she's embracing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then immediately after, I was like, I thought it was really important that like, you know, she has the whole thing where she says like talks about this experience. It says Ganja takes care of Ganja, and then the next thing we see is her getting married to Hess. And I'm just like, yeah, there you go.
You know?
Because like, and I think that's kind of when she starts to devise a plan to get rid of him. Because the source of danger now in the room is Hess, because he killed her husband and she has proof of that. And so it's like marrying him is a way to gain access to his stuff, his money.
When he disappears.
And then, yeah, and then I think it's really interesting because then, you know, you have Hess being like, I want you to live forever.
Yeah.
And whatever. And then, you know, she gets turned to a vampire. And I do think it's really interesting. Like, you know, the dagger is the thing that turns you into a vampire.
Yeah.
Because the two scenes we have of like turning, because hers is almost like a second wedding ceremony where like she's standing there. She's like also like wearing, I think she's wearing like white or like a light color.
I mean, even when he like, you know, he has to, was she dreaming that he killed her? Did he really kill her at that moment?
I thought she was dreaming.
Okay. I think so. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still kind of like symbolic because like you have like the wedding night, like the blood on the bed, and and that's what she's like she dreams of, and then you have the actual turning with the dagger, and I don't. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I was like, not to be like a standard like psychoanalytical like Freudian analysis of a plot device, but there is like, it is a tool of penetration.
Yeah.
It's a dagger.
Yeah.
And the two contexts we see it in, like when Hess is turned, George like comes at him like when he's in bed.
Yeah.
And then he stabs him.
Yeah.
And then we have this sort of like wedding, like, you know, like you said, like wedding night, and then, you know, her getting stabbed to be turned. And so there is this like, I think, interconnectedness between like sexuality and violence being in play with how one is turned, which also is like very classic vampire, honestly.
Honestly, it really is.
I mean, honestly, aren't fangs like a penetrative tool?
Right, exactly. I mean, even when you think about the other times that we actually like see Hess feed, he only, I feel like he only seems to feed on women. Does he feed on anyone else?
I mean, I guess the first person whose blood he drinks is George's. But
that
I think the other person, like he feeds on. Yeah. I think he only feeds on women.
Yeah, and it's like
in sexual context.
Yeah, so There you go.
There you go. Case in point. And then when we see like Ganja feed, it is like this really long like sexual fever dream moment with like this young man. And I really love that scene as well, because like you can feel the intertwining between like sexual desire and bloodlust.
Yeah.
And like her desire for him and the desire for his blood, like, you know, all getting mixed up together. And then where she like does quote unquote kill him, because he doesn't actually die, but like we think he's dead, and there's a lot of blood, and like the way that it's shot is very sensual. And I love it's beautiful. It's one of my favorite shots in the movie. It's like his back just covered in blood.
Back to that discussion of like sensuality and eroticism that we kind of talked about earlier. Like this is another scene that's gorgeous. You know, it's another sex scene, but it's shot so beautifully.
Yes. And like when you see that shot with like the blood is on his back and it's like so shiny, and it looks like it kind of looks like either like glitter, like rubies or something. It like it highlights the preciousness of this thing, this blood.
Yes.
And it's just really great. But then you also can feel like I feel like the first note of apprehension. I'm not necessarily certain how like genuine it is, like if she was like really upset about it, or if she wanted to seem upset about it for the next part of her plan, where she's like, we have to kill ourselves, Hess.
Yeah.
But I think it could also be like both, you know.
It could be. I mean,
like she gained this power, but like also reconciling with what having that power means, or like who it will affect.
Right.
You know, even though she tends to like take care of herself, like I don't know, there's like the reality, like the knowledge of it and the reality of it, you know.
Right.
But yeah, and
I think another thing that also kind of affirms like the discussion around like sexuality and, you know, vampirism and these turning points having this sexual undertone is also the beginning conversation between Meta and Dr. Hess when they were talking. They very specifically were talking about desire and hunger.
Yes, absolutely.
So it all
kind of comes together. It all comes together, and like, you know, we have like these. It is. I feel like talking about like vampiric sexuality is always in a way talking about transgressive sexuality. So, and it's like I don't ever want to like insinuate that like a queer director can only ever talk about queerness, but like there was this conversation here being had about like transgressive sexuality and almost like I'd say anxiety about transgressive sexuality. And then we have the other scene in the church that's also very erotic, when like Hess is on his knees and like surrendering to the Lord through the through the pastor, basically. That I also feel like there's a conversation about like what sexuality do we condemn and what sexuality do we like socially or societally do we place anxiety on. And I think part of it is like, I think in general there's a cultural discomfort, like I'd say United States sort of centric like discomfort with like Black sexuality and then women's sexuality and also queer sexuality.
Yes.
And so just having these things all kind of be here in this space where it's occupying both spaces, where it's like both showing the sensuality of it but also still maintaining the anxiety of it, I do think works with a vampiric framework and in a vampiric mindset, because vampiric feeding the mouth is a very sensual location, and feeding like words for desire and like words for like sexual desire often overlap with words for hunger. So
which is, you know,
there's like that poem that goes around all the time that's like a kiss is the start of cannibalism. So
I haven't seen that.
It's around.
No, but yeah, I 100% agree. And even like continuing that conversation, I wish I could remember the exact lines, but there were certain lines in there that I'm like, you specifically said that from your point of view as a queer Black gay man. Like I know that this was also part of your conversation. I mean,
Yeah.
he even, cast himself as the one who,
Kicks
used
the
the
whole-
dagger on on Hess. Like,
yeah.
so there's definitely part of that conversation happening there. He was really talking about a lot of different things, and he really
Yeah.
intersected them really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And then and then we have like Hess looking into, the how it could be done, because I think Hess has also been struggling this whole time with what this all means for him.
Yeah.
He feels like, even from the start, like just an inherently more like nihilistic person.
Yeah.
So when it comes up, that's like, well, the shadow of the cross over the heart, and God just like, that's it. That's what we gotta do. And she's like, we have to do this. And then we have that like extended scene in the church where it's like we watch a lot of a service, honestly,
right. I know,
before Hess even shows up.
It's so long, but honestly, I love it. Like,
Yeah.
I may have said this earlier, but I don't remember since it's so long ago. I may be repeating myself, but I really do, as a person who's not religious, I do love church music.
Yeah.
And there's something about seeing music within the Black church that just, it's always so beautiful and like kind of moves you.
Yeah.
So I do love this scene.
And then I'm not sure. It felt like there was a point when the pastor like offhandedly just said something in what I thought was tongues, like speaking in tongues. So if this is a Pentecostal church, I think that adds another layer well, of like this surrendering to the Holy Spirit. Like, I don't know how familiar our listening audience is with Pentecostalism, but like basically almost every single church service is a point in which the pastor like calls on the Holy Spirit to descend upon the congregation and for people to come forward and like be filled and basically relinquish control of your body to the Holy Spirit, because crazy shit happens when that happens.
Interesting.
People start, like I say, speaking in tongues, running around, like sprinting full
I'm not gonna
sprint.
lie, I've always wanted to see it just once, because I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness. We don't do anything interesting like that. I mean, I know that's also kind of traumatic. Some of that stuff has been traumatic for people. Okay, sorry,
Perhaps?
Jude.
No, it's
fine. No,
we're
boring.
I can't speak to. I've never been inside. I don't know what they're called. Kingdom Halls. I don't know.
There's no need. There's nothing. There's nothing to gain there.
You're like, there's nothing to look for. But like, so there's like people collapsing, people prophesying, all of this stuff that like happens, and it's like out of body,
right?
And so then after, like, when you kind of have like I keep forgetting the pastor's actual name. I'm like, Sam Wayman.
I also don't know what his name is either.
Is like basically does the altar call, and then like Hess comes up, and then we do have like that moment I alluded to earlier where like he's on his knees and like
super
Sam Wayman has his hand in his hair.
There's such an undertone. Not even an undertone at this point, because he literally like pushes his hips forward, and I'm like, oh I'm like, oh it's kind of crazy.
It is. It's very erotic. Very erotic.
Extremely so.
And it's like, in a way, like that sort of, I brought it up because I'm like, that sort of surrender is like submissive. It is like a submission. Yeah, it's like this form of submission that I think does lend itself to also another like angle of sexual transgression,
right?
Like subversive sexuality conversation.
Yeah.
And it's crazy.
It's great.
It's a great scene. I love it.
Yeah.
I love when a director doesn't care how long a scene is.
Yes.
When they just let it go on until it feels right.
Yes.
And I feel like Bill Gunn really does that.
He's like, I really don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You're gonna sit here and watch this.
I'm thinking back to like
service.
that David Lynch quote of like, who gives a fucking shit how long a scene is?
Like, he really does. But he extends this scene. He extends we had that really long sex scene with Ganja and the young man as well. Like, he's really not afraid to just let you really sit with it.
Yeah. And I love that.
Me too. I love I love his choices in this
Yes.
film. It's great.
Yeah. But yeah, and then we have Hess attends that churches. He comes back, I think, with even more conviction.
Yeah.
That he's like,
And what he needs to do.
of what he needs to do, and Ganja's like, for sure, what you need to do.
And he's like, oh, aren't you gonna join me?
Well, yeah, because then like she has the thing, and he's like, come with me, and she just stays there, like she doesn't go with him, and you know he dies.
Yeah.
And she does not go over.
She avoids that shadow.
Yeah,
She avoids the cross. She avoids that shit.
Yeah, and I think it's so great because in the next scene, like when the ambulance is there, like when they're shooting her through the ambulance glass, and she's like purposefully off to the side of where the cross on the ambulance is as well.
Yeah,
like she's not about to let anything happen.
Exactly.
And you know she's explaining everything that happened to like the cop, and then she goes back in the house, and we see, the same young man sprinting across completely nude, just running toward her and jumping over one of the cops. So like I'm like she killed him,
period.
and then it shows Ganja and she's just sitting there and gives a little bit of a smile, and it's like all according to plan,
and we love that for her.
Yes,
we love to see Black women win. We love to see Black women be a little messy and still win.
And like not be punished by the narrative for it.
Exactly.
She wins. Like if anyone wins the movie, Ganja wins the movie.
Yeah. And I do love that because I feel like we don't see that enough. Mm-hmm. We talked about how we don't see it enough in horror. And it does feel really nice to know that this Black queer director, this Black man was the one who was like, I am going to let this Black woman win. Yeah. She's going to win.
And I especially think it's really important because one of the things that like we kind of discussed before we came on, like was shame is what gets Hess.
Yeah.
But Ganja doesn't feel ashamed.
Yeah.
And so she's able to live and thrive and actually like wield this power. Whereas Hess is very caught up in shame, I think, because he feels caught. Mm-hmm. We see him the whole movie kind of caught between white academia and then like Black culture.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's very uncomfortable with it all. And Ganja is very comfortable in herself.
Yes.
And so she's able to make it, and Hess succumbs to shame. And I think that shame is also like kind of symbolized by the Christian church in this movie. It's like the thing that's hanging over all of it.
Yes, consistently. Oh my God. And I
like that it doesn't like it is like I said, it is a source of shame, but it doesn't frame it badly because you still see the community and the joy in the church service. But also it's the thing that gets it.
That's what I really appreciated as well. Because it wasn't out to demonize it, because there is a reality. The reality is that like while Christianity was also used to like oppress Black folks, it's also, since that's all they kind of had, they had to mix that with their own traditions, and it kind of became a place of safety. Maybe not for everyone, but overwhelmingly, like the Black church was also a place of safety for the community. So I think being able to acknowledge that while also acknowledging the greater harm as well, I just feel like he handled it really well.
Yeah, it's a very like he really had an understanding for a lot of the nuance around a lot of these conversations, including like even down to like class within your own like race, and how you can still be part of a class that is harmful to your own folks, while he was just able to have these conversations and understand that there's layers to all that, and you can really feel it. Yes. Yeah. And that's basically what I was going to say. There's like, he allows for the nuance by not being preachy about anything and just showing the things to you in the way that he shows them. He allows these conclusions to come up on their own.
Right.
And not be like, here's the issue, da 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 da.
Right.
This is a movie that really trusts in the audience to use their own judgment.
Right.
It doesn't spoon feed anything to you.
I appreciate that as
well.
It's
like you're intelligent, figure it out.
I think we need more of that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how intelligent some folks are still these days. There is a literacy crisis, but maybe if more people did this, we'll be forced to like really, I don't know.
Yeah, I think the crisis is kind of like an Ouroboros in this, like in the sense it's like a self-fulfilling crisis where it's like people don't want to think, so I'm going to spoon feed it to them, and then people stop feeling like they have to think, and then needing things spoon fed.
Never-ending circle.
Yeah.
Like someone has to break it.
Someone has to break it. But yeah, so yeah.
I think that's all we really had to talk about. Clap for us for, re-recording this last 30 minutes. Love y'all down. You did it for y'all.
Yeah.
But, honestly, it wasn't that bad once we started talking, because I do actually really enjoy this movie. So it was actually not that hard to have a conversation again once we got started.
Yeah, there's a lot to dig into with this movie. To narrow it down to even what we just narrowed it down to, I think leaves so much still to be like talked about.
Truly. Absolutely.
But yeah, it's really great.
If you haven't seen it, you should
watch it, because we also just kind of talked about the whole movie. But even though we like said everything, you need to experience it. Yeah,
it's different. It's totally different when you like truly experience it. You have to let it happen to you.
Yeah, it's one of those movies.
Yeah. Absolutely. Wow, y'all. Can you believe that we actually finished the series? I
can't.
Finally, no, I'm kidding. It was really fun though. And it was really fun watching these movies, whether you're rewatching it for the first time. Or watching it for the first time, so we each kind of had
rewatching it for the first time or watching it for the first time.
I'm stupid, I'm tired.
I was like, wait.
Whether we were watching it for the first time or rewatching it, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. Next time, our next series, which will probably not be. It won't come out next month.
Like we said at the top of this little like inner bit, we are not going to be available for most of March.
Yeah. So it'll come out probably in April. But yeah, we're going to start this next series, which is going to be us talking about things that we hate, which is very easy for us.
I love to hate things.
Drew's a pro.
Oh my gosh. My 5-second tangent, which is at work yesterday, I don't know, we were talking about people being mean or whatever. Yeah. And one of my coworkers was like, you are very nice. And I was like, I'm very nice at work because I don't see the point of being mean to people I work with. And she was like, you give me the vibe of someone though who could be mean as fuck though. And I was like, thank you.
Not thank you.
I was like, well, I've been told I have a hater spirit, so my little interlude. But yeah, so we're going to talk about things I would say we're sticking to like a theme of 5.
Yeah.
So 5 movies, 5 horror movies that we hate. I think we already have...
Are we talking about weapons?
We're going to talk about weapons for sure. I think we're also going to really dig into Return to Silent Hill for sure.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
And then I have a controversial... I mean, weapons is controversial, but I have another controversial personal one.
Which one?
Fresh.
Fresh?
Yeah.
I don't think I've seen that one.
I watched it with Alyssa, but we got to dig into it because I really hated that movie.
Okay.
So and hopefully you'll agree with me why.
What if I loved it?
You won't.
Okay. That's so funny. Honestly, we didn't think about what if one of us likes one of the movies, but I don't think that can happen. It happens rarely where there's something I really like
that I don't.
Yeah, like I really like Challengers, and Jude won't even watch it with me.
It has nothing to do with the movie. It's just that
You're a hater.
I hate both. I think both of the men are ugly, and so I won't watch the movie.
Yeah.
Many such cases for me personally.
That's real.
I refuse to see men I think are ugly be in sexual situations with beautiful women.
Honestly, that's very understandable. But also...
And then people kept trying to gaslight me and tell me that they were hot and I want to kill myself.
Okay, our group chat, there were people in our group
Not just you, Twitter, at large.
I didn't say that they were. Why are you saying that I did?
You said group chat, our group chat.
You said you.
No.
Not just you.
I said not just them, I guess.
Okay. I was like, don't lie about me.
No, not just the group chat, but like Twitter at large. I think I meant to say not just them, but Twitter at large.
Yeah.
But
I
yeah.
was like, damn, I didn't say that.
No, it was the whole world was trying to tell me
I
that
know.
these white men were actually hot, and then trying to tell me that men looking like rats is actually hot, and I won't fall for this propaganda, and I will stand strong in my
You're allowed
position.
to. You're allowed to.
But anyway,
Oh my God, not to go off subject, but I mean it's kind of off subject because we're also going to talk about Return to Silent Hill. We did make a post on TikTok where we may have mentioned that the guy was ugly, but the guy's
I said that James looked ugly.
James.
I said an ugly ass James.
And people got mad.
And people started, because I was actually talking about the misogyny of a choice that I was pretty sure was happening, and then people tried to gaslight me and tell me that no, it was disproven a long time ago, and then it actually happened in the movie, and then no one said anything to me after that because they knew that they were wrong and I was right. But
no back talk.
On top of it, like, I was talking about the misogyny of this choice, and more people were coming to tell me that I shouldn't call this guy ugly as opposed to engaging with what I was talking about. And I was really upset about that.
To come to the household of a lesbian who is not fucking white and be like, you're not allowed to, like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Go die. Kindly.
Anyway.
Softly.
Yeah. And then I had told Amari privately, I was like, they would throw up if they heard the men that I've called ugly.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I was about to...
Don't out me. They'll kill me.
I mean...
if they know who I've called ugly.
I mean, there are people I've said that I also would get crucified for. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I don't care. Y'all are not going to come to our house.
Yeah.
Two queer people.
Yeah.
Queer people of color and be like, y'all have to find white men attractive. Fuck you. Anyways, no. That's going to be how we end this.
Yeah. And I think it's thematically relevant.
Because that's where we're about to lead up to.
Yeah.
Us being haters and not giving a fuck.
Yeah.
So.
Anyways,
thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Had a really great time.
Yeah, let us know if you've seen the movie, what you think about it, anything you want to add to the conversation. We love talking about these.
If you're watching it on YouTube, you should subscribe to us.
Comment, subscribe, do all the things.
If you wanna battle, and if you're like, I thought that man was hot, fuck you.
If you think the man who plays James in Return to Silent Hill is hot, we need to have a conversation.
Yeah, no, we can argue. We can debate. We can have a debate. Argues too aggressive. We can have a little debate. Anyways, we'll talk about it in our next podcast.
Yeah. But anyway, that's all we have. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.